Hollywood film sets are usually places where professionalism and respect reign supreme, but sometimes a moment occurs that can instantly end someone's career. The incident on Sylvester Stallone's Rambo set was exactly one of those moments. In the mid-1980s, filming for the Rambo series was underway. Stallone wasn't just the lead actor, he was also the creative force behind the project. He had worked for years to develop this character, contributed to the screenplay, and made John Rambo one of cinema's most iconic characters. The set was particularly busy that day. Dozens of extras, technical crew, stunt performers, and actors in minor roles were preparing to shoot an action scene. In a tropical location, with humidity and heat challenging everyone, Stallone continued working with his usual professionalism. A young actor who had been cast for a small role was also on set. He was just at the beginning of his career, but his confidence was through the roof. Like many newcomers to Hollywood, he believed he was going to be a big star. However, this belief was dangerously at odds with reality. During the lunch break, while the crew was resting, this young actor was talking with other actors in the backstage area. According to several crew members who overheard the conversations, he was making comments about the Rambo character with extreme self-assurance. "There are much better actors who could play this character," he was saying. "Sometimes I don't understand how roles are distributed." At first, nobody paid much attention. Ego is a big problem in Hollywood, and such talk isn't uncommon, especially among young, inexperienced actors. But this actor didn't stop. His confidence had completely overtaken his logic. During preparation for the scene, while Stallone was discussing technical details with the crew, this young actor approached. As other actors and crew members tried to understand what was happening, something incredible occurred. The young actor came up to Stallone and began speaking in a rather casual manner. "Mr. Stallone, I need to talk to you." Stallone, always known as someone respectful to his set colleagues, turned to him and politely said, "Yes, what's up?" Then came that moment. That career suicide moment. "I have endless respect for you, but frankly, the Rambo role should have been mine. It's a character that seems written for me." Everyone on set froze. The sound level suddenly dropped. Camera operators, lighting technicians, makeup artists. Everyone was trying to understand what had just happened. Had someone really just told Sylvester Stallone that the character he created, contributed to writing, and that defined his career should have been given not to him but to this nobody? Stallone's facial expression didn't change. He was someone who had worked in Hollywood for years and had seen every kind of ego and drama. But this was different. This wasn't just ego, this was fundamental disrespect. "Are you serious?" Stallone asked, with a note of surprise in his voice. The young actor, incredibly, continued, "I'm absolutely serious. Physical appearance, talent, charisma. I have it all. I deserve this opportunity." Stallone took a deep breath. The crew was waiting eagerly to see how he would react. Would he yell? Would he get into an argument? But instead, Stallone acted with maturity and composure. "I understand," he said calmly. "Confidence is important in this business, but respect is more important." Then he turned to the producer and assistant director standing nearby. He said just one sentence, "This gentleman no longer has business on my set." Within 4 minutes, literally 4 minutes, security was called. The young actor's access card was taken. His belongings were collected, and he was politely but firmly removed from the set. Stallone turned to the crew and said, "Let's continue," as if nothing had happened. Filming resumed. This story was told in whispers throughout Hollywood for years. Some thought it was a legend, but crew members who were there that day on set confirmed it was real. So why did Stallone react so harshly? To understand the answer, you need to understand what the Rambo character meant to him. When Sylvester Stallone came to Hollywood, nobody believed in him. Casting directors said he had an accent, that his facial muscles were impaired, that he was too muscular. He was rejected, humiliated. Doors were slammed in his face. When he wrote Rocky, studios loved the screenplay but didn't want him in the lead role. They considered names like Robert Redford, Burt Reynolds, James Caan. But Stallone insisted. "I'll sell the screenplay, but not if I don't play the lead," he said. Finally, with a minimal budget, and Stallone in the lead, Rocky was made, and it changed cinema history. Rambo was a similar journey for him. He developed the character, worked with screenwriters, brought his vision to life. This wasn't just a role, it was part of his creative legacy. And now, an inexperienced young actor was telling him, "It should have been me instead of you." This incident contains important lessons about Hollywood. First, the line between confidence and arrogance is very thin. Confidence is believing in your abilities. Arrogance is elevating yourself by belittling others. Second, respect is everything in this industry. A famous director once said, "Talent gets you through the door, but character keeps you inside. Without set etiquette, professionalism, and mutual respect, no matter how talented you are, your career will be short." Third, thinking you deserve a role and demanding it are completely different things. Everyone in Hollywood thinks they deserve a chance, but that doesn't mean that chance should be given to you, and it certainly doesn't mean it should be taken from someone else. What happened to that young actor's career? He quietly disappeared. He got a few more small roles, but never achieved real success. The industry is small, and rumors spread fast. He became known as the guy who got kicked off Stallone's set. Years later, in an interview, Stallone talked about behavior on sets. Although he didn't specifically mention this incident, he generally said film sets are very stressful environments. Long hours, high pressure, big budgets. If you can't work together as a team, everything falls apart. I always look for this humility, hard work, and team spirit. There's no room for ego. In another interview, he added, "I always tell young actors this is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to rise quickly. Earn respect, build relationships, be good at your work, the rest will come." This philosophy defines Stallone's own career. Despite rejections, failures, and difficulties, he never gave up. But he never put others down or tried to place himself in a position he didn't deserve. The 4-minute incident on Sylvester Stallone's Rambo set may superficially look like an ego clash, but deeper down, it contains important lessons about respect, professionalism, and true confidence. Hollywood can be a place where dreams come true, but it's also a place where harsh realities emerge instantly. You can lack talent and improve through work. You can lack connections and open doors through networking, but if you're disrespectful and arrogant, doors close immediately. That young actor had caught the biggest chance of his career. Getting a role in a Rambo film, working with a legend like Stallone, gaining experience on a major production. But in 4 minutes, in a single moment of arrogance, he lost it all. Stallone's response that day wasn't a power play. It was setting boundaries. It was saying, "This is the world I created, my set, my character, and here, respect is mandatory." Today, that young actor didn't set scream. He didn't set argue. He didn't even fully understand what had just happened. As security walked him off the set, some crew members avoided eye contact. Others watched in silence. Not out of cruelty, but because everyone there knew a hard truth about Hollywood: you are always being watched, even when the cameras are off. In this industry, people don't just remember your performances. They remember how you made the room feel. That actor thought confidence meant announcing his greatness out loud. Stallone knew confidence meant letting your work speak while you listened. And this is the part most people miss. Stallone didn't remove him because he was threatened. He removed him because the set is a fragile ecosystem. One ego can poison hundreds of hours of work. One disrespectful moment can slow an entire machine. Film sets are not democracies of opinion. They are hierarchies of responsibility. Stallone carried the weight of the story, the budget, the crew, and the legacy of a character millions connected with. When someone undermines that, not through talent but through entitlement, it isn't bravery. It sits a liability. That day on the Rambo set became an unspoken lesson passed quietly from crew member to crew member. From assistant director to casting agent, from actor to actor, you don't earn respect by demanding space. You earn it by proving you deserve to stay in the room. Hollywood is full of talented people who never made it. Not because they lacked ability, but because they failed the character test. You can train your body. You can sharpen your craft. You can learn lines, accents, techniques, but humility. Humility is revealed under pressure, and arrogance always shows itself when opportunity finally arrives. That young actor didn't lose his future because he spoke up. He lost it because he spoke down. Stallone's reaction that day wasn't set anger. It wasn't set insecurity, and it certainly wasn't fear of being replaced. It was clarity, because people who have truly built something know the difference between ambition and intrusion. On a film set, every person has a role, not just in the script, but in the ecosystem. The stunt coordinator trusts the lead actor with his body. The crew trusts him with their time. The producers trust him with millions of dollars, and the audience trusts him with a story they want to believe in. When someone walks into that space without understanding those invisible contracts, it disrupts more than a scene. It disrupts trust. That young actor believed Hollywood was a stage where the loudest voice wins. But Hollywood is not impressed by volume. It listens for consistency. People who last in this industry understand something early. You don't challenge a legacy before you've earned a presence. Stallone didn't respond with humiliation or public shaming. He didn't lecture. He didn't argue. He simply removed the problem and protected the environment. Because leadership on a set isn't about dominance, it's about stability. And that is why the incident stayed quiet. No press release. No gossip columns. No dramatic headlines. Just a name that slowly stopped appearing on call sheets. In Hollywood, careers don't usually end with explosions. They fade through silence. Phone calls that on set get returned. Auditions that never come. Meetings that are suddenly postponed indefinitely, not because someone was untalented, but because someone was remembered. Years later, when Stallone spoke about teamwork and humility, people who had been there understood exactly what he meant. Sets are pressure cookers. They reveal who you are when status, exhaustion, and opportunity collide. Some people reveal professionalism, some reveal resilience, and some reveal entitlement. The tragedy of that young actor's story isn't that he was removed from a set, it's that he mistook proximity to greatness for ownership of it. He had access. He had visibility. He had time to learn. But instead of observing, he declared, instead of earning, he demanded. And Hollywood is very clear about one thing. You can teach skills. You can refine talent. You can even recover from failure. But arrogance teaches the industry exactly how careful it needs to be with you. That day on the Rambo set wasn't about ego clashing with ego. It was about a boundary being drawn, a quiet line between those who are ready to carry weight and those who only want to stand in the spotlight. And once that line is crossed, there is no dramatic punishment. There is only absence.